Hello, it's gthorny12 again, and I'm using Bug Crusher Pro today. After yesterday's outing with it, I actually did notice a few small problems regarding the brakes, but I didn't have the right tools on field with me to make adjustments. So I've brought it now the day after. It's raining again, so there's no trips today. And I just want to go through a few things of how to adjust the brakes on your nitro RC truck or your buggy or whatever. One way you can adjust the brakes on your nitro RC vehicle is to actually screw in this kind of little knob thing there. Screwing it in will mean the brakes are tighter, and screwing it out will mean that the brakes are in fact looser. If you screw up this little screw thing, then you will notice that there is more braking on idle speed and less braking on full speed, which is not what you want. You want small amount of braking on idle and maximum braking on full speed. You can adjust the amount of braking using your servo arm. You can adjust that one as well. Another way I would also recommend to actually adjust the brakes on your RC vehicle is to in fact turn the screws that are actually directly on your brake pad. So if we look closely, the camera angle is kind of hard to see, but here is your brake pad here. There is your central differential gearbox. These two screws here, I think they are 1.5 2mm hex screws, I think. See, one is there and the other one is there. Screwing in these screws will actually make the overall braking tighter, which means there will be more braking on full throttle, and there will also be more braking generally. This setting here controls the amount of braking always there is by default setting. So by turning the screw clockwise, you will be tightening your brake, meaning therefore more braking there will be, and counterclockwise turning it will actually mean that there will be less braking by default setting. And alright, so once again, there is your central differential gearbox, and your brake pad is right there, just kind of next to the differential gearbox. Another place you can actually adjust the brakes is on your controller. Now the controller is where you set the idling speed and where you control everything on your controller. Now if we look here on the idle speed, sometimes it is a kind of knob turny one. If we look here, like on this controller, the wheel type, the speed is kind of knob turning one. However, on this controller, it is more of a kind of slidey button thing. Now, if we look, where it is at the moment, that means that there is a little braking on my truck. That is how it is set, and a 1.5mm gap opening in the carb, which is a good idle speed. Now if I put it up like that, if I turn it up, or in this case if I turn it up that way, it will mean that there is less braking and more throttle by idle speed. If I turn it down, that means there is more braking and less idle speed. Please remember to always make small adjustments at a time when adjusting anything on your nitro vehicle. Also, please remember where it was by default setting. Therefore, if you've made an adjustment and it's not what you want it to actually be, then you can always return it to default settings again. Alright then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have been enjoying the latest action videos of this truck in action. Unfortunately, where we normally take the trucks and the buggies, in fact, is extremely kind of flooded at the moment with all the local rain we've been having, and therefore we will not be going there for a few months until the weather gets nice. So I hope you have been enjoying the action videos. Please stay tuned for action videos of the Acme MB16 in an underground car park, which is coming up pretty shortly. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next weekend.